Welcome to Women Tennis USA. I am Mary Carillo, and today we bring you a full news report on a season that is already buzzing across the tennis world, the United Cup 2026, and the unmistakable sense that Coco Gauff is stepping into a phase of her career where dominance is no longer a prediction but an expectation. As the tennis calendar turns and the United Cup once again takes center stage, the conversation around women's tennis in the United States is being shaped by one name above all others. Coco Gauff enters 2026 not as a promising young star, not as a breakout talent, but as a fully realized force with the game, the mindset, and the competitive fire to overwhelm the field. This is not about hype anymore. This is about substance, results, and a trajectory that points directly toward control of the sport's biggest moments. The United Cup has always been a unique proving ground. Its team format, the pressure of national representation, and the fast-paced transition from the off-season into meaningful competition expose every strength and weakness a player brings into the new year. For Coco Gauff, this event represents something more than preparation. It is a statement platform, a stage where she has consistently shown an ability to elevate her game when the stakes are immediate and the spotlight is bright. What separates Gauff heading into 2026 is not simply her athleticism, which has long been elite, or her baseline power, which now rivals the very best on tour. It is her evolution as a competitor. She arrives with a clearer understanding of point construction, a more reliable serve under pressure, and a defensive skill set that has transformed into an offensive weapon. Opponents no longer look forward to long rallies with her. They dread them. The United Cup format rewards versatility and mental toughness, and Gauff embodies both. Her return game has become one of the most feared in women's tennis. She reads serves early, neutralizes pace, and immediately turns defense into initiative. Against big servers, she absorbs. Against counterpunchers, she presses. There is a growing sense among players that there is no comfortable pattern against Coco Gauff anymore, and that is the foundation of dominance. From a national perspective, the United States enters the United Cup with depth, confidence, and leadership, and Gauff stands at the center of that equation. She is no longer the youngest voice in the locker room. She is a leader by example, setting standards in training intensity, match preparation, and composure. Teammates feed off her energy, and opponents feel it across the net. What makes this moment especially compelling is how Gauff has handled expectations. The early years of her career were accompanied by constant noise, comparisons, and pressure that would have overwhelmed many players. Now, as 2026 begins, she seems liberated by experience. She speaks with clarity, competes with conviction, and plays with a sense of ownership over her game. That maturity shows up in tight moments, the kind that define United Cup ties. The United Cup also highlights adaptability, with matches played across different conditions and against a wide range of playing styles. Gauff's ability to adjust tactically has become one of her greatest strengths. She can flatten out her ground strokes on faster courts, add margin and spin when conditions demand patience, and vary her positioning seamlessly. This is a player who no longer waits for mistakes. She creates them. Physically, Coco Gauff enters 2026 in peak condition. Her movement remains extraordinary, but what stands out now is her balance and efficiency. She slides, recovers, and transitions forward with an economy of motion that allows her to sustain high-level tennis deep into matches. In a team competition where momentum swings quickly, that physical resilience is invaluable. Mentally, she appears even stronger. Gauff has embraced pressure as a tool rather than a burden. She understands that being the player everyone wants to beat is a sign of success. At the United Cup, every opponent circles her match. Every crowd leans in. And yet, she thrives in that environment. Her body language is calm, her routines consistent, her focus unwavering. The tactical improvements in her serve deserve particular attention. Once considered a vulnerability in critical moments, her serve has become a reliable foundation. Placement, disguise, and second serve confidence have all improved. She is winning more free points, holding serve more comfortably, and putting immediate scoreboard pressure on opponents. In team competition, that efficiency is often the difference between momentum gained and momentum lost. There is also a noticeable shift in how Gauff approaches net play. She chooses her moments with intelligence, finishes points decisively, and uses her reach to cut off angles. This added dimension forces opponents to hit cleaner passing shots under pressure, raising the difficulty level of every rally. It is another layer in a game that continues to expand. From a broader tour perspective, the United Cup 2026 arrives at a moment when the women's game is deep with talent but searching for consistent dominance. Many players can win on a given day. Fewer can impose themselves week after week. Coco Gauff is increasingly viewed as belonging to that second category. Her results, her presence, and her competitive instincts suggest a player ready to define an era. The United Cup amplifies that narrative because it demands not just individual excellence but emotional investment in a collective goal. Gauff has shown she embraces that responsibility. She competes not only for herself but for her team, her country, and the standard she believes American tennis should represent. That sense of purpose fuels her performances. As matches unfold, what becomes clear is how uncomfortable opponents look when rallies extend beyond neutral exchanges. Gauff's depth, consistency, and ability to change direction expose impatience and uncertainty. Errors creep in. Patterns break down. The scoreboard tilts. This is the subtle, cumulative pressure that defines dominant players, and it is on full display. Off the court, her professionalism sets the tone. Preparation, recovery, and focus are treated with seriousness. There is no sense of complacency. She speaks about improvement, about areas still to refine, about staying hungry. That mindset suggests that what we are seeing now may only be the beginning of her most commanding phase. The United Cup also serves as a psychological marker for the season ahead. Strong performances here resonate through the Australian summer and beyond. For Gauff, starting the year with authority sends a clear message to the tour. It says that she is ready, that she expects to win, and that she is comfortable carrying that expectation. American tennis fans watching the United Cup see more than just victories. They see composure under pressure, adaptability across matchups, and a player who understands how to manage momentum. These are the qualities that translate into Grand Slam success, and they are being sharpened here, in real time. What stands out most, perhaps, is Gauff's patience. She does not rush moments. She allows matches to come to her, confident that her game will hold. In an era defined by power and pace, her ability to blend athleticism with strategic discipline makes her uniquely dangerous. The United Cup environment, with its compressed schedule and emotional intensity, often reveals who is ready to lead the sport forward. Coco Gauff looks not only ready but eager. She competes with joy, but also with seriousness. She celebrates points, but quickly resets. This balance is the hallmark of champions. As the event progresses, the sense grows that opponents are not just trying to beat Gauff, but to survive her. Long rallies test their legs. Defensive scrambles test their patience. Service games test their nerve. Few players emerge from those tests unscathed. For the United States, having a player like Gauff anchoring the team creates belief. Every tie feels winnable. Every deficit feels manageable. That confidence radiates outward, strengthening the entire squad. Team competitions often reveal leaders, and Gauff has clearly assumed that role. The conversation around domination is always delicate in tennis, a sport defined by margins and momentum. Yet there are moments when a player's trajectory becomes undeniable. Coco Gauff in 2026 appears to be at such a moment. Her skills, mindset, and results align in a way that suggests sustained control rather than isolated success. The United Cup is not the final destination, but it is a powerful indicator. It shows who has done the work in the off-season, who understands their identity, and who is prepared to impose it immediately. Gauff checks every box. Her presence alone alters match dynamics. As we watch her navigate this competition, the narrative is not about potential fulfilled, but about authority claimed. She plays with the assurance of someone who knows she belongs at the top and intends to stay there. That confidence is earned, not assumed. For fans of women's tennis, this is a compelling chapter. It is the emergence of a player capable of anchoring the sport, drawing attention, and delivering on the biggest stages. For American tennis, it is a moment of pride and promise. The United Cup 2026 may ultimately be remembered as one of many events in Coco Gauff's career, but it carries particular weight as a signal. A signal that she is entering a phase where her name is not just in the conversation, but at the center of it. As matches conclude and the tournament unfolds, the impression lingers. Coco Gauff is not chasing the field. She is setting the pace. And as the season stretches ahead, the rest of the tour is left with a clear challenge: find answers, or prepare to be overwhelmed. From Women Tennis USA, I am Mary Carillo, and this has been our in-depth news report on the United Cup 2026 and the rise of a player who looks ready to dominate everyone in her path.